Now, President Putin's historic visit has ended. It was significant, viewers, on all fronts, economically, geopolitically, militarily, one of the most consequential partnerships for India at one of the most consequential time of massive global changes. And marking the formal conclusion of the visit was the presidential banquet, hosted by President Murmu in honor of the visiting Russian president. And at the dinner, Leader of Opposition in Lok Sabha Rahul Gandhi and Leader of Opposition in Rajya Sabha Mallikarjun Kharge were not invited, even as Congress MP Shashi Tharoor was. The Congress says this is political brownie points that are being scored at a diplomatic event. The BJP says, well, Rahul Gandhi doesn't turn up when he's supposed to, and plus this is not political, at best just procedural. He turns up when he wants to, he says what he wants to, and chooses to decide which foreign country he chooses to spew venom against India. But the larger question is, should the office of the Leader of Opposition be given the courtesy, as is the convention? Or is it important to also look at the duties and responsibilities of the office of Leader of Opposition and not just focus on entitlements, as is being made out? And more importantly, is this also a case of deep divisions within the Congress party that are now out in the open? Well, NDTV's editor-in-chief Rahul spoke with Shashi Tharoor, who was at the banquet, and he spoke about, well, everything except protocol, which he said he knew nothing about. Listen in.
Lots of chatter also around just your presence here at Rashtrapati Bhavan. I saw a lot of the people were saying there's as much curiosity in your presence as there was in Vladimir Putin's.
No, but the fact remains, Rahul, that for many, many years it was standard practice for the chairman of the External Affairs Committee to be invited to every Rashtrapati Bhavan banquet. I have come to several, particularly up to and including the days of President Pranab Mukherjee. But then there was a change in attitude, I will admit, and there was a disinvitation, as it were, for some years. I'm very glad they've restored the practice. I think it's a healthy practice.
You've come back after a while?
I've come back after a while. So for some years, I think that, they had a different attitude. This time, it seems that they have decided to open up a little more to other voices. And frankly, because the relationships with foreign countries are precisely what the Parliamentary Standing Committee deals with, it's helpful to have some insight into what goes on in the conversations, the atmosphere, and so on. So I'm very pleased to be here for that reason. Nothing more, nothing less.
And I agree with the point that you made, that your job is to make the points of your constituents and not to constantly be in a harangue with the government. I think most sensible people watching this would agree with that.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. That has nothing to do with getting invited to Rashtrapati Bhavan, which may or may not happen otherwise. But the truth is that on the question of cooperating with the government of the day, you don't abandon your convictions or principles, but you find common ground. I mean, part of democracy and part of the cooperation between government and opposition in a democracy is about finding common ground. We disagree on some things, we agree on some things. And where we agree, we should work together.
And interestingly, when you say we don't abandon our convictions, it's suggesting that Dr. Tharoor is not abandoning the Congress party?
Listen, this is a silly question. I don't know why this has to be asked. I'm an MP of the Congress party. I went to great trouble to get elected. And it would take me, I think, considerable amount of thought and various other considerations to be anything else. I think as far as I'm concerned, I have a job to do to the voters who put me here, and I'm doing my very best to fulfill my obligations to them. Even today, in some of the conversations before we all sat down to dinner, I was trying to plug certain things for my constituency with some of the officials I was coming across here from our own government. So that's part of the lifeblood of getting things done for your people, your voters, your constituency. That's political responsibility too.
Shashi Tharoor said it very clearly that part of democracy is to find common ground. Some places they agree, some places they don't. And finding that common ground is most important. But there is now a war of words that has erupted. Listen in to the BJP and Congress representing the two sides of an argument that we are now going to take forward with the debate later on. But first up, those voices.
I don't know what game, what conspiracies they wake up and see. Shashi Tharoor, as far as I know, is the chairman of the Standing Committee on External Affairs and was invited as the chairman of the Standing Committee on External Affairs. Now, if Rahul Gandhi is a man who doesn't show up, doesn't have any good thing to say about India, doesn't stand for what is good for India and is not invited by somebody to a dinner, why should they start sulking and whining and crying? I'm not able to understand. Are they children or what is this? This is like the height of political immaturity. If Rahul Gandhi wants to become a standing committee chairman of the External Affairs, to be invited for dinner, then he should call Shashi Tharoor and say, you resign and I will become the chairman because I'm very interested in going for dinners in the Rashtrapati Bhavan.
दोनों हमारे एलओपीज को नहीं बुलाना अपने में गलत परंपरा है। मैंने बहुत से राष्ट्राध्यक्ष आए थे जब सांसद था, कई बार प्रधानमंत्री राष्ट्रपति ने बुलाया तो उसमें विपक्ष के तमाम नेता बुलाए जाते थे। लीडर ऑफ ऑपोजिशन तो कोई ना कोई एक तो रहता ही था हमेशा, क्योंकि जैसे पक्ष देश का एक प्रतिनिधि होता है, विपक्ष भी होता है। तो ये दुर्भाग्य की बात है, लेकिन अभी सरकार से और क्या उम्मीद करें। वो अब बुलाया गया है, वो हो सकता है डिफेंस के एक्सपर्ट हों, लेकिन वो रूस के बारे में उनके विचार थोड़ा सा अलग रहे हैं। तो मैं यही आशा करूंगा कि रूस के बारे में उन्होंने जो बातें कही हैं और खासकर पुतिन और उनके राज के तौर तरीकों के बारे में उन्होंने जो व्यक्तिगत रूप से कई बातें कही हैं, वो कम से कम वहां जाके ना कह दें। जैसे कभी कभी अपनी तरफ से कोशिश करते हैं अपना सत्य हर जगह बताना, वहां कम से कम डिप्लोमेसी दिखाएं।
अगर शशि थरूर को बुलाया है तो कांग्रेस को तो प्रसन्न होना चाहिए कि उनकी पार्टी के एक वरिष्ठ सांसद को उसमें आमंत्रित किया। अब अगर किसी एक व्यक्ति विशेष को आमंत्रित नहीं किया किंतु पार्टी के किसी प्रतिनिधि को आमंत्रित किया, तो मैं समझता हूं ये लोकतंत्र की वो बेहतर मिसाल है कि जिसमें पक्ष और विपक्ष दोनों मिलकर के काम करते हैं।
There is not doing favorable things to Congress party. That is true. Anyway, that action was taken by central leadership. We are not saying anything against our MP. He is our elected MP from Kerala. The stand should be taken by the High Command.
All right, let's open this up. Shehzad Poonawala of the BJP, Pooja Tripathi of the Congress, Ambassador Deepak Vohra to tell us more about the nitty-gritties and fine print about how these procedures are actually done when you talk about presidential banquets. But first up, I want to walk our viewers through the number of times that Shashi Tharoor has actually run in with the Congress party and the number of times he's had disagreements. Let's put that out and then we talk about, is this as much about the divisions in the Congress as this is about the procedure and the politics of it as well. First, he was part of the G23, the part of the rebel Congress group that demanded reform way back in 2020. In 2022, he contested the Congress party president election against Mallikarjun Kharge. Then next up, he of course lavished praise on Prime Minister Modi in February this year and said that Prime Minister Modi's US visit was extremely significant. There was a Malayalam podcast where he said that if Congress party doesn't need me, I have options. Next, there was a jibe by the Prime Minister at Congress. This happened at the Kerala Port's inauguration where there was Tharoor's presence and he said that would give sleepless nights to many. Now let's talk about Operation Sindoor. Shashi Tharoor praised surgical strikes. Congress fumed and Congress leaders actually said that he was a super spokesperson of the BJP. We'll put that out. That's what the Congress termed Shashi Tharoor, who actually said that they are just trolls who are distorting his views. All this is happening between people within the Congress itself. Operation Sindoor also saw the Prime Minister picking Shashi Tharoor for being part of a global team to lead the India narrative. He was talking about India, telling the world about India's position post-Operation Sindoor. Congress once again said, we didn't even name him. Why is it that you are picking him? Then Shashi Tharoor actually praised L.K. Advani, lauded his contribution on his birthday. The Congress once again said, well, you're speaking for yourself, you're not speaking for the grand old party. Then Shashi Tharoor repeated Prime Minister praise. He lauded him at a recent event. It was the Ramnath Goenka lecture. And he also went on to say that he was happy to be in the audience. He was beaming, he was clapping. All those pictures went viral. Again, the Congress wondered and said, what is he really doing there? Then he skipped the Congress's meeting on SIR, said that he was actually unwell. But he attended the Prime Minister's event a day before. It gets better. He also skipped the Congress meeting ahead of Parliament session, said I was on a flight and I had informed leaders. So he was unwell, he was on a flight. All this is again happening between congressmen fighting amongst themselves. Then there was the Putin dinner invite where Shashi Tharoor was invited, and there was heartburn because Rahul Gandhi and Mallikarjun Kharge were not invited. Even as Tharoor went on to say, and we played that soundbite for you, where he spoke to our editor-in-chief saying that you need to find common ground. You cannot keep fighting all the time, and that's the big question. Let's put that out. And, first and foremost, I want to ask this to Ambassador Deepak on the panel, which is that, Ambassador Deepak, a lot is being made out in terms of, what is procedure, what is protocol, what is convention, what should be done. Is this a given that the LOP, the leader of opposition, must be invited to presidential banquets, or is this a convention but not really cast in stone?
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to be on your amazing channel, and I see that you have two other guests who are both far more intelligent than I am, far more eloquent. And the one request I have, and I don't need to make it, but just for form's sake, that you may, let's keep a certain civility about our discussion, which we always do on NDTV. I know Mr. Poonawalla very well. He's brilliant, and lady there is outstanding. Now, let me put it to you, I've been ambassador in 6 countries, handled 4 state visits. 3 were state, 1 was an official visit. And the banquets are done, if it's part of the schedule, there is a banquet. If not, there isn't. Now, what normally happens is, ma'am, in diplomacy, we do not discuss it we don't discuss the procedures on television, nor do we use megaphones. What will happen is, let's say I'm ambassador in country X, and there is an invitation for their president or prime minister to visit India. And then we say, all right, now this is it, and then we would like to host a dinner, but you have a very tight schedule. Do you think your prime minister is able to attend the dinner, or would he rather have a quiet evening himself? And then the person turns around and says, my counterpart, yes, of course, he'd be delighted to attend the dinner. And could you please, during the dinner, we have some friends. Do you think they could be included? Do you think they could be included? It's never, please include them. And then we ask that we're going to invite Mr. Poonawalla or Deepak Vora or you, young lady, and would you have any objection? And they might turn around and say, हाँ ठीक है, बुला लीजिए, but Deepak Vora थोड़ा ऐसा वैसा है, उसको मत बुलाइए. Now, the final decision is mine, but we're only taking the suggestions. We may still disagree with them and do it. So it's not cast in stone, it's not in the Constitution of India, that if there is a state banquet, you have to invite the leader of the opposition. I was checking the record in my ministry, and I think till about 1970 or 75, it was never done. Subsequently, it was introduced, etc. Who did it, why it was done, I don't know. But in this particular case, as far as President Vladimir Putin is concerned, ma'am, you might recall that another allegation was that the leader of the opposition wasn't allowed to meet him. Where was the time? He arrives in the evening, runs off to a major meeting at the Prime Minister's house.
All right.
They discuss let me complete this. Next morning, he goes off to the formal reception, then it's Rajghat, and the poor chap has no time to sleep. Then there's lunch, and then there's the meeting with the business people. Evening, there's the banquet. So I think this is, if you forgive me for saying so, it sounds to me, after 52 years in diplomacy, like a bit of a storm in a teacup. He wasn't invited, he wasn't invited. There could be many reasons. I conclude by saying, ma'am, there was a rather funny prime minister of a country in the northern hemisphere who wanted to invite some strange characters, told us, please invite these guys for my day, and they turned out to be very undesirable elements. So we said, sorry, we're not inviting them. And then they relented. So it depends on, it's negotiation. It's done very quietly, it's done very tastefully, it's done very tactfully. We don't scream and yell at each other. That's it.
Okay. So Pooja, you heard the ambassador saying that this isn't cast in stone. There is a lot of discretion. There is, yes, there is protocol, but there's also convention, not cast in stone.
Gauri, what is democracy without its convention and protocol? Leader of opposition is ranks akin to a cabinet minister as a 7th in protocol. And when, this has happened in past too. There was Sonia Gandhi who was meeting President Bill Clinton, Israel PM Ariel Thompson, and as an LOP, Atal Bihari Vajpayee met various foreign dignitaries. And let me tell you, LK Advani 2004 met Putin. Also, forget about inviting LOP. Manmohan Singh appointed LK Advani to lead the peace talks with President Pervez Musharraf. So what do you, this kind of petty politics where you invite a chairman of parliamentary committee on external affairs, but you don't invite the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. You say that these foreign dignitaries had a say in this, but the state dinner, we are talking about the state dinner, the president banquet, which was organized by the country itself. And country is not Bharatiya Janata Party. The president's home is not Bharatiya Janata Party's official state.
No, nobody is saying that. But yeah, finish your point. Yeah.
Government, Gauri, as a prime minister is, as a president of a country is, or as any cabinet minister is, and that's why skipping, intentionally skipping LOP from both the houses, from both Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, is something that it's not about it's nobody.
Okay, Pooja, let me ask you a couple of questions, and you'll get all the airtime, and then I'll get Shehzad to rebut to some of that. So the fact is, Rahul Gandhi is the leader of opposition in Lok Sabha, and just as he feels he should be given respect, the charge is he respecting the office of the leader of opposition? The Congress wants that there can be political differences, but when a foreign leader comes, you should rise above it. But the same should also be applying for Rahul Gandhi as well. That when you go out on foreign soil, you should not be speaking ill about India. You are here, you have political differences, question the government, you must. You are the leader of opposition, you must question the government. But when you go on foreign soil, why do the same?
The government is not equal to, let's make this very clear, questioning the government is not equal to speaking ill about India.
No, I said the same. I said the same.
Speaking ill about India is मुझसे पहले 2014 से पहले लोगों को शर्म आती थी भारत में पैदा होने पे. This is speaking ill about country. As an LOP, as a responsible political leader, whenever he has stepped foot outside the country, he has never spoken ill about country. He has asked questions, which are genuine questions on electoral democracy. He has asked questions to the government.
Shehzad Poonawala, respond to that.
My only request, Gauri, is that I have just recovered from a very bad cold, and I would request that just like I have heard Pooja patiently, she will show the same patience. First of all, analysts have agreed that there is no written law as such which dictates that a LOP is to meet a visiting head of state or a dignitary. It's a matter of what they call convention or protocol. Now let us examine this aspect. Convention to ye bhi hai कि when there is an Independence Day program, that is not Modi ji's birthday party, the LOP should attend. Convention to ye bhi hai, when there is Republic Day program, it is not Amit Shah ji's birthday party, they should attend. Convention to ye bhi hai, when there is a Chief Justice of India swearing in, or when there is a swearing in of Vice President, Gauri ki ya Deepak Vora ki birthday party nahi hai, they should attend. तो वहाँ पे convention attend नहीं करना है, दूसरी जगह convention का बहाना देना है, ठीक है? Secondly, Deepak Vora is sitting here. Till 1977, there was no statutory post of LOP. So are you saying that from 1947 to 77, we were not a democracy because there was no LOP statutorily recognized? Now let me go to the third point. The third point is that Rahul Gandhi says that I have been denied to meet any foreign leader, and this is because the government is scared of me. In the last 1.5 years, Rahul Gandhi has met no less than 5 foreign dignitaries. The ex-Prime Minister of Bangladesh, the Prime Minister of Vietnam, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, the Prime Minister of Malaysia, the Prime Minister of Mauritius. If there was anything, Malaysia. If there was anything that we feared, why would he be able to meet these leaders? The reason is that the visiting dignitary or the visiting head of state must express that he or she wants to meet Rahul Gandhi.
Okay.
But if they don't want to meet him for good reason, let me give you a last point on that. Last point on that. Just last point on that. I request you, it's very important. Bear with me. Bear with me. As we speak, I want to show you one tweet of the Congress party. Just let me show it to you. This is Kerala Congress. New daddy alert. Putin is the new papa of Modi Bhakts. This is their official handle, demeaning Mr. Putin, calling him new daddy of Modi Bhakts. Mr. Sushil Shinde has on record called Mr. Putin a dictator. Mr. Chidambaram has said that Mr. Putin is guilty of crimes and that India should have voted against him in the United
that's an important
Nations.
Point.
Time and again the Congress party has advocated, one second, let me articulate it. Time and again, the Congress party has taken a stand that BJP government should have taken a stand against Russia. After that, do you think the Russians would have any desire to meet Rahul Gandhi?
Okay. All right, Shehzad. Okay. Now let me just add to that, and Pooja, I'm going to give you all the time and then get an Ambassador Vora also, because it's important. We are talking about some very sensitive diplomatic issues. You know, you mentioned about Putin specifically. Now, this is Rahul Gandhi speaking on the 8th of April 2022 at former Rajya Sabha MP Sharad Yadav's residence in Delhi, where he says that just like, and I'm quoting, just as Russia said that that Luhansk and Donetsk is not yours, China is saying that Ladakh and Arunachal is not yours, and it has stationed its troops there. That model can be applied there, but the government is not accepting the reality. And then he goes on to talk in detail about all of it, comparing Russia, Ukraine, bringing in China. I'm just adding in to what Shehzad Poonawalla was speaking specifically about the what's happening on Twitter, some of those very derogatory comments made with regard to President Putin. I'm talking about Rahul Gandhi's official statement where he has brought in and equated Russia, Ukraine with the India-China border dispute and standoff after Galwan. Pooja, respond to that.
You know, what did the Arunachal diplomat, the Arunachal, a lady from Arunachal was stopped by the Chinese authorities saying that Arunachal is not part of India. And that's, when he was bringing up claims, and there's been Bharatiya Janata Party MP in the floor of the House who have raised questions on Chinese incursions. He was asking questions on, as a very responsible India, he was asking questions on China's broader border policy.
Right, but what has that got to do with Russia-Ukraine war?
That's what I'm saying. When you talk about Independence Day, we saw what happened in Republic Day. As an LOP, I'm again saying he ranked 7 in protocol, and he was thrown back in the somewhere around 7th or 8th seat. And that's where
okay.
Then let me now you are asking. Let me complete. Coming to Republic Day, coming to Independence Day, he was thrown way back into the way behind the Indian Olympic.
This is not protocol. I am quoting verbatim what Rahul Gandhi has said, comparing Russia-Ukraine war to the India-China border issue. And then he is saying, why am I not being invited and why am I not being given a chance to speak to President Putin? Ambassador Vora, Pooja, I'm going to give you a chance. Let's get in the diplomat on the panel as well to weigh in on the diplomatic aspect of it, because this is an extremely sensitive area. Ambassador Vora, respond to that. I quoted Rahul Gandhi's statement. Weigh in on how this stands today if he, in the wake of the controversy that's come in.
Well, ma'am, may I say something with total sincerity? You're brilliant. I'm scared of the questions you ask. You're very, very good. Let me put it to you like this, ma'am. The person we are speaking about, please try and access, and I'd like his party representative to access what he said at an American university not too long ago. I was there, ma'am. You've quoted something that he talked about, but what he said at that university, that democracy is dying in India and we need your support to revive it. No. Our ambassador there was aghast, because you don't say things like this about your own country, that you need the support of a foreign country to revive democracy, ma'am. That, I think, I'm not sure it was a slip of the tongue or it was intentional or somebody had written it for him. He didn't realize what he was saying. Having said that, ma'am, as far as this visit is concerned, it was a state visit, and state visit is very delicate. If we don't invite, now, question is that there were 7 or 8 ministers from his side. There are so many cabinet ministers in India, they didn't get invited. I didn't get invited despite having been a former ambassador. There was no place. I mean, you can only seat a certain number of people. So there are issues that have to be sorted out and addressed diplomatically. I think trying to make an issue out of it, why did you invite this fellow and not that fellow? I'm not quite sure what we are trying to prove. I don't think democracy is in danger. I think we've done what was expected of us. The Russians were very happy with the list, so one of them told me that they were delighted, etc. And they were very thrilled with all the protocol that was given to them.
Of course. Let me now, and Pooja, I'm going to give you a chance, and then Shehzad, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to give you all the time for rebuttal. But let me just add into what P. Chidambaram tweeted on the Russia-Ukraine war. I'm going to give you a chance. P. Chidambaram said the government of India should stop its verbal balancing act and sternly demand that Russia stop immediately the bombing of key cities in Ukraine. This is your former foreign finance minister, former home minister, one of the tallest leaders of your party making these statements. Pooja Tripathi, you have all the time to rebut this. And now tell me that the protocol that is being mentioned again and again, the convention that is being mentioned again and again in the backdrop of these comments that have been made by your own party leaders.
You know, as a responsible opposition party, we have been asking the government to have peace talks, and we have been asking government to not take sides and not just, this is the Bharatiya Janata Party that has been echoing in highest speed that the president, prime minister is the one responsible for the stopping of, would be the one responsible for the stopping of Russia-Ukraine war. And that's why, as a responsible opposition, we have asked government of India to have a clear-cut stand on the Israel issue. We have requested government to have a clear-cut stand, and starting from Nehruji, this diplomacy is not a one-off thing, and it's not a politics of convenience, it's a continuous process, and government of India has always...
All right, Shehzad has been wanting to come in. Shehzad.
Gauri, just for your knowledge, in 2022, many leaders of the Congress were advocating that the government should take a stand against Russia and pro-Ukraine and should get Russia to be sanctioned. And in 2023, Manmohan Singh and then Rahul Gandhi himself had to acknowledge that their stand was wrong and that the government of India, Modi government stand was right. So by the way, Pooja Tripathi's concerns, they were not concerns, they were vested interests talking.
I think Rahul Gandhi was equating Russia-Ukraine war with India-China.
I did not interrupt.
He went even one step forward. But yes, finish your point.
Complete. I have not interrupted. Yes. And secondly, the larger point I'm making is very categorical. An official handle of the Congress has equated Putin to Paw, basically some kind of authoritarian figure. You have Sushil Kumar Shinde, Mr. Chidambaram, and other leaders of the Congress basically calling Mr. Putin Hitler. Please tell me, Pooja Tripathi, is that your official stand? If it is not, what action did you take on them? And after having that as a stand, how do you expect Putin's team to even want to meet you?
Oh God.
You're calling him a dictator.
No, respond, Pooja. Have those tweets been withdrawn? Has action been taken?
I have not seen the tweets.
Here it is. Here's the tweet. I'll read it out.
I have not seen it.
I'll read it out.
When it comes to the India-Russia ties, it's been something that we are very proud of, and it has been upheld through Jawaharlal Nehru's times. So I have not seen those tweets. But when it comes to this pop-up, who actually advertised this, who actually propagated this pop-up?
No, but if it is there and it is from an official handle, then that's a very serious matter.
Your Lok Sabha campaign where you said ki Papa ne to war rukwa di, Papa ne war rukwa di. This was your advertisement, if I want to remind you. Papa ne to war rukwa di, this the whole meme generation.
All right, I have to end this. I'm going to give final 30 seconds to Ambassador Vora, sir, completely out of time. 30 seconds, please.
All I want to say, ma'am, is this is totally unnecessary. The visit went off very successfully. That was the purpose. Our relationship with Russia has been very steady. Ups and downs with America, ups and downs with Europe, ups and downs with this fellow, that fellow. Russia constantly steady. We have reinforced that. They've gone back very happy, ma'am.
And that's the larger takeaway, isn't it? This political bickering that we are talking about, the fact that who got invited, who got left out, also needs to be seen in the context of the commentary that has been made by the opposition leader. We keep talking about entitlements, we keep talking about privileges that come with the leader of opposition's office. It's time to also talk about duties and responsibilities. Should you be responsible enough when you make statements against a head of state? Should you be responsible enough to ensure that when you talk about foreign policy of India, you make statements that don't come back to not haunt you or your party, but the country? That's the larger point. I'm going to end this. Thanks so much, Shehzad, Ambassador Vora, and Pooja for joining me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
All right. On that note, slipping into a short break. On the other side, we have a special program, Control Alt Delete, with Shivarur and Vishnu Show.